Oh, this looks good. What's this? Well, it's the Honda NSX GT3 Evo, or at least as close as we can get in GTA Online on our Dinker Jester. So welcome back to Let's Build. What is the GT3 Evo? Well, they took the Honda NSX, the Mark II of course, and they made a full carbon-bodied GT racer on it, and then a year later they thought, we can do better than that, so they made the Evo. That's what we're going to try and build today. I'll warn you, I don't think it is the most accurate of the builds. We don't necessarily have all the parts that we can use, but we can get somewhere close. Please note this is not the race car version of the Jester. I used to have that one, but the problem is that the livery on it is baked on. All you can change is the underlying colour, so I find more freedom just with the standard version. Always put your armour to 100%. The brakes are up to you. Now on the front bumpers we only have a choice of 4, and we always want the carbon version because the whole car is carbon bodied. We need a canard and a massive splitter, so the bottom option, carbon splitter and canards, is the closest one that we have. On the rear we want an absolutely massive diffuser, and we can have painted or carbon. We're going to go with the carbon in this case. Moving on, always upgrade the engine even if you don't do the rest. And on the exhaust, well, none of these exhausts are quite right, and I almost wouldn't blame you with any of the later ones, but we do want some round exhausts. I hummed and hawed, and in the end I went with the chrome tip exhaust, but go with what you fancy really. Up to you with the lights. I would go with either xenons or the ones from the car meet. Onto the number plate, up to you. I kept mine black to try and make it disappear into the dark bodywork. I want to do the satin paint trick, and I'm fairly sure you can only do that at LS Customs. Let me know below if I could have done it here in the auto shop. I'll just show you the distribution though of the paint. The orange on here is obviously the primary, and you see how the secondary goes in the middle, and this is unfortunate because what I'd really like to be able to do is to paint the splitter, paint the diffuser, paint sort of round the base of the car, because that's what the GT3 has, at least in the show version that we're looking at the pictures of, that does not have the sponsorship all over it. Of course I couldn't do that. Now roll cage and race modifications looks pretty good. The only thing is you do get the little clips that are not ideal to hold the bodywork on, but you also get those nice vents on the hood. I just think that overall roll cage and race modifications beats roll cage and chassis upgrade for the look on the car, to get some of the bits as close as we can. On the roof, definitely the rear louvers. That's really great because they are on the race car and they make a big difference to be able to have those. On the skirts, we don't want that little wing. We don't want the skirt sticking out so far. So we're going to select custom skirts. Onto the spoiler, slightly disappointed here, like some other parts on the car, we can't get it as close as we want. Spent quite a long time looking at these. I can't go for the GT wing in all fairness, although it gives the square end, because it just is really too big. It's a bit of a double decker. The colour coded wing isn't bad, but in the end I think carbon wing type 2 is maybe the closest. It's not great. Obviously dump the thing to the floor with competition suspension, because we do need to have it with the top of the tyres into the arches. Transmission and turbo up to you. I haven't. I'm going to edit out about 5 minutes now while I look through every wheel in the game. And the end result was to go into the sport category and select the wheel called S Racer. That gives about the best with the spokes, not only their shape but also that the spoke exactly meets the end of the wheel. Some of them have a dish that the race car doesn't have. Nice thing is they're nice cheap wheels as well. Unusually, of course, we're not painting in black. No, we're painting in alloy, which gives us the grey sort of colour that we need. Don't forget your bulletproof tyres, of course. And we want some tyre writing, so select the tyre design. There's very rarely tinted windows on a race car, so we're not having those. That's the build complete apart from the paint, so let's nip off now to LSC. Trick to getting satin paint, but I think literally everybody knows this one who ever has customised a car in GTA. We start with the primary colour being set to the matte colour that is closest to the one we want. So in this case the primary colour will be matte black. And to fool the game into letting us have a pearlescent on there, the first thing we need to do is go down into the metallic section and just flick randomly through a whole number of them. I don't know how many, just plenty. Then back out, go and do something on the number plate, and then straight back into respray when you'll find pearlescents are available. And I think that frost white is giving me the sort of gleam that I want from this pretend carbon fibre that we're trying to make. Ice white is a little yellowy, a little warm, I think, for the reflection that we want to get. With the secondary colour now, you can of course just go straight in and select your matte black. The pearlescent will apply automatically. That completes the build, as long as you remember to go back and select your correct number plate, which I always forget to do, and I had to go back. Now, I said at the beginning this may not be the most convincing build because of the way we are forced to do colour distribution on the car and one or two of the parts available. However, I think it's worked out really well given what we have, and in fact of all the builds I've had on this car, this one is my favourite. I think the two possible changes are to build it on the race car, because obviously the racing version rather than the show version would have had a livery, or to simply have a red secondary and put that red over the centre of the car and say, well look, I've got red over the centre instead of having it round the outside, or maybe pick red wheels, something like that, to accent the red on the car. If you've got anything you would like me to build in the game, please let me know down below, because it's always more fun making something for somebody else. And it was somebody else who asked me for this NSX build. I can't remember who, but I hope you've enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the build, as well as clicking the like, if you realise that you don't own one of these Jesters already, just let me know down below, because I keep a little list and I will pop back on and reply to your comment maybe weeks or months afterwards to tell you if it's back on sale. If you like real cars in GTA, of course, please do not hesitate to subscribe, and as always, thank you so much for watching.